Welcome everybody to our weekly collective energy update for energetically sensitives and empaths. My name is Jona Bryndis. I present these current energetic weather conditions that we are influenced by, and we're going to discuss what you can do to counteract them, to go with them, and to not feel too influenced by them. And we are live. It takes a little bit till I can see you here on the screen. I hope you can hear me all right. So let's get started. Let me know where you are watching from, and also let me know how you're feeling. All right, so we're going to review a little bit last week, and then we're going to go into this exciting new week, new chapter that is starting for all of us. All right. So the energy update is called Equinox, Ready or Not, and we're going to be looking at week 39, 22nd of September till 28th of September. And this is going to be a really, really powerful week, guys. I don't want to put this in context with certain days are more important than other days, but if you look at the energy barometer here, the energetic weather conditions, the collective energies around us, okay, you'll see that it's, yes, one of them weeks again. There's a bifurcated arrow, and this means that it can be a tricky week for those who have been avoiding, who have been sort of trying to maintain the old, even though they know it's not quite all right. And for those of us who have been actively working on this for a while, this can actually be a really beautiful week. So we're looking at a big week of healing, okay? And the healing, as most of you know, can go either way, okay? Sometimes it has to get worse before it can get better, and that is what is mostly considered to be like a healing crisis, or a catharsis in some kind. All right, we're looking at quite intense energies coming in, but again, nothing new for those of us who have been in this sort of self-healing and self-transformation for a while. Now let me ask you, yes, Annette, I see you. A spacey day for you, okay? Yes, this is something that people have been reporting throughout the weekend, the last weekend and the beginning of this week. It feels a little spacey, not as foggy maybe as the last 2 weeks, but still people are dealing with head issues, with headachy feelings, pressure in the temples, and around the head, maybe also in the neck. This is slowly getting better now, guys. The part here that affects us empaths the most is when there's a lot of downloads and a lot of energies coming at us, okay? And we usually feel this in the head and in the neck area. This doesn't mean that it's all bad. It just means that there's discernment needed. We need to really know what is ours and what isn't. This is something we trained here at transCODES last weekend with the Energetic Visioning Intensive. Those of you who were here with us, it was a phenomenal training and learning experience. And I could only wish, that more of you guys choose to do this active work, because it makes your life as an empath so much easier, okay? But anyway, we are entering a new cycle now, and some of you know this. We have the equinox coming up on Saturday, and we have a full moon coming up next week. So these are naturally intense ways. And what does this mean, without going into astrology too much? It's usually the time of the year, regardless of whether you are living in the northern or southern hemisphere, where things either need to go together or they need to go apart, if that makes any sense. So there's this harmonizing theme that we had from last week, and it goes into, sort of embracing the new. So when you look at the seasons, this is shift change, from summer into fall. But it's a shift change here, okay? And for us energetically sensitives, this always means that, these moments when these transitions happen, that we can feel this very strongly, and we will feel new influx of energy. And for some of us it will feel a little foggy, and it will make our physical really dense and really heavy feeling, maybe even swollen feet or something like that, or just feeling really sort of that the 3D body is kind of like a burden. Did you guys have this the last week or two, that you felt like your body is too slow somehow? I know we came out of a time of like acute tiredness and insomnia for some of you, but it's a little easier now. Yes, I can see your comments. It's a little easier now, but it still feels a little heavy. This is, at the time here where within a few days, within this next week, you will notice a really strong shift, okay? You have already been impregnated, as I called this earlier in a discussion group that we have here at Skype. So the new energies have already descended. They have already come in. And now it's really up to you, how you are going to handle this. I've mentioned that we have to go into somewhat of what I call mutual change, and that means that we have to agree to these changes, okay? So you can't sit there and wait for something big to happen, and then when it happens you're like, well, I don't really want this, okay? So for some of us it's surprising, even though we have been waiting for this all along, and for others it may feel like a little bit of a drag right now, because nothing new is actually materializing yet. It's a bit sort of a void before a storm, before something big is happening. So you got to push through this time a bit, guys. Those of you who are still in the situation that is lowering your energy, and that makes you feel contracted or squinty or cringy, as some kids have described this. For you guys it's really important now to step out, okay? So this is the part that you have been avoiding all along. When you are an energetically sensitive person, it's really difficult to accept these two realities, to accept your energetic reality and your 3D reality, in a sense that they can cooperate with it. They can't. Okay, and things need to go into congruence, and this is something that I talk a lot about. I have mentioned this, almost every week here this year. Okay, it's about congruence. How can we make our energetic reality become to match up with our physical reality, our 3D reality? See, most people on this planet, they wait for the physical reality to change so that they feel free or feel like they have the permission to change. But it's actually the other way around. We need to see that this is the time of full self-responsibility. We'll get to that here in a little bit, because for some of us this is kind of scary, self-responsibility, and for others it's confusing. All right, so we'll clarify this here, but just to give you an overview here, you will step into outer resistance this week. You will notice where you are willing to make a change, but your immediate environment, maybe your loved ones, your family, are not feeling this, and where they think something is wrong with you, okay? So it's very important that you know what your true source of power is. Where do you find, this strength, to go against the stream, against sort of the collective or the global ego? Where do you find this? And we cannot find this in our false self, guys. The false self is these identities that we have, the things that we present to the outer world, and most of us also project it quite strongly, which is the reason why we absorb so much from the collective on the tail end. But the false self is really just a part in us that we have formed to protect, our sort of vulnerable true self, because we've experienced so much resistance growing up. And you have to understand that even though it feels vulnerable, it is the true source of your power. So you won't be able to, get past these resistances, outer or inner, but mostly outer, this week, with pretending to be somebody that you're not. Your true source of power is in your authentic, in your true self. That is your higher power, guys. Okay? So it's really important to identify all these distraction and avoidance mechanisms that we have, because those are the ones that keep you linked, that keep you sort of sucked in your false self, and is also therefore responsible for the resistances that you experience. So sometimes it's best to just stand up and say, you know what, this is me, take it or leave it. This is the best I have to offer. Accept it. And if you think that this is limited, then accept my limitations. Hello, South Africa. Hello, Texas. Yes, hello, Arizona. I see you guys. By the way, especially those of you who come regularly, smash the like button, guys. I see my videos at the end of the week and I see so many people watching them and nobody pushes the like button. So give me some love in here, okay? I'm being measured by the likes that I get by you. And yes, the edited version cancels out the likes, the life likes, but still, it's good to know that you like what you are seeing, okay? So what is sort of the main theme here? It's basically the continuation or the next level to harmonizing. We really have to step up. We really have to get out of our avoidance and our distraction mechanisms. And guys, this is going to be a big week about addictions. Okay, so you know this transCODES is big into addiction and recovery, but not so much just substance or behavioral addictions, but also addictive patterns that we take on as sort of ego coping mechanisms, and you're going to run into those. So this is why the arrow points into both directions for this coming week, okay? You won't be able to kid your true self anymore. There is no hiding truth from yourself. So you cannot want to move into authenticity and at the same time, try to run away or avoid or, sort of do all these weirdo sidetracking actions or coping mechanisms that hold you back from going there. Okay? We'll go a little deeper into this, what this means in the physical and the emotional and the mental and with our relationships here with the energy tips. But let's look at the collective. How does this play out in the collective? So for the main part, it's, becoming visible right now, the functionality and the dysfunctionality of our society, and we all feel like it's bouncing back and forth. So there'll be days or times where we think, oh, okay, it's not that bad after all, and as a whole collective, we are sort of evolving. Yes, and then there'll be times where you can clearly see the global shadow, and where you can clearly see in politics and economics, like in the financial systems right now, the dysfunctionality of it. And yes, all this is already in the making, guys. This has already been taken care of, okay? So the impregnation has already happened. There's something to accept as well. There's a new foundation that is already being laid out, but it's not visible. It's just sort of the conception of it, okay? And so as all this is taken its time, to germinate and to sprout and to manifest in the 3D, we're going to see more and more scandals, more and more of these uncoverings that we've been, already seeing since kind of like last year, like summer last year. So this is going to go bam, 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 guys. Going to continue. Okay. And it's actually kind of boring already because, those of us, like myself who have been around for a while, it was so big 20 years ago to show all these things. Nowadays, you don't really have to do anything anymore. It's all uncovering itself. Okay. So this is the resistance, of lower vibratory things moving into higher vibratory places. It cannot exist, they're not compatible. What are some of the things that we need to expect here coming from the collective, meaning, from people on the streets, from people, sort of in at your workplace, at the supermarket and so forth? There's a really big wave of judgmentalism and righteousness coming in. So you got to be a little careful there because this can trigger your own critical inner voice and your own self-doubts. Okay, so especially when it comes to things that are generally sort of morally unacceptable, like pedophilia and subjects like this, people may actually sort of take self-responsibility a step too far and go into lynching or publicly sort of crucifying people. Not literally, but you know what I mean, right? Like really, this is too far. Okay. What is really needed here is more going into the understanding that together we are stronger, And yes, there are outcroppings of our human nature, and they will always be there. Okay, like we've already discussed many times, not everybody wants to move into a higher vibratory place. Not everybody has higher vibratory goals, and we have to accept that. Hey, George. Yes. Okay. So you're having lots of dreams and a lot of sort of visual impact here as energetically sensitive. This is part of kind of like what we have to contend with as energetically sensitives. We feel, or it can happen that our pineal gland gets a little bombarded by all this upheaval that is going on around us. Okay, and this is why I mentioned earlier it's important to use discernment. You need to know what's yours and what isn't. And yes, it can be very upsetting. It's like watching too many horror movies or things like that. You have to really know what is in your center and not go into fear. Fear is right now the most counterproductive thing that you can go into. Courage is the most needed element here to be able to push through. Okay, fear comes from a place of not being able to trust in yourself, to not being able to trust in your own abilities, in your own source of power. That's why I talked about your source of power. You need to know where that is. Okay, and filter these things out that are bombarding. We cannot change that, guys. Exposure, to weather cannot be controlled. You cannot make yourself unaffected by weather, neither in the literal sense nor in the energetic sense. Yes, hello Denmark. Hello Ireland. Yes, thanks Matthew for responding to George. It's really cool when you guys share these things because then other people can see that they're not the only ones dealing with stuff like this. So that's why I love the live, It'd be so much easier for me to just do this in my office, when the kids are asleep or whatnot. But this is what I'm doing this for. Yes. So, understand that this impregnation, this new cycle that we are looking at here right now is going to take anywhere from like 10 to 20 years. Okay. But for us personally, it's the time to really step up. And I know I sound like a broken record because I have said this so many times this year. It's time for you to come out of the woodwork, to listen to your vocation, to listen to what you truly want to do. If you continue relationships, careers, things that you do on a daily level that you sort of internally resent or that degrade your energy, guys, you cannot really participate in this manifestation of higher vibratory goals of yours. You're not. You're constantly sending, contradictive signals. Okay, you want one thing and yet you engage in another thing. So it's not maybe as strong as a reality check right now, but it's like common sense, guys. Common sense. Okay, so there is something in there for you if you can step into your true power now, and it will take roughly until next spring, next summer. So expect a 9-month impregnation or gestation time, and be patient. Okay, fill out your order form, refine your order form to the universe. And this cannot just be done with the mind. This is a big mistake here. This is why energy coaching is different from life coaching, because you cannot push your energy into something that comes, that is based on mental energies. You have to do this with your heart. And so we always start with, sort of zeroing in on our heart. And really connecting within. And this is where you find your authentic self, your true self. And this is also where you find the guidance that is needed. The tools, the skills, and the guidance are already in you. You just need to let go of all the crap that you have been holding on, be it to protect you, be it to cope with stuff that you actually shouldn't be coping anymore. Or, to hold on to a reality that you don't even want anymore. Okay? This is your choice. This is your responsibility. All right, so let's look at the energy tips here for next week and how you can implement all of this. Okay, so physically, it's a bit of a relapse time. Okay, so you'll feel pulled back into things that you've thought that you've already worked through, be it, with substances, with foods, or activities. Don't give up on yourself. Push through, guys. Have the courage to push through. And if you are, really close to this point of realizing, damn, maybe I'm drinking too much, or maybe, this, whatever the painkillers that I'm taking are really not good for my life. They're destroying my life. Or, of course, obvious things such as drugs or things, even smoking pot, guys. You know this about me from an energetic point of view. This is not a good long-term choice because it rips holes into your etheric. It has effects on your energy that are way beyond the physical. Okay, so this healing, okay, is a holistic perspective that needs to come in, and that can only come in through your heart, namely through applying self-love in action. It starts at self-care, and so physically, it's for this next week, guys, and I was saying this straight out, trying to try is not good enough. You're going to have to show up for yourself, okay? So whatever it is that you're doing that you already know is not good for you, be it dietary stuff or not exercising enough or using substances or engaging in coping mechanisms that are not working for you, you're going to have to face this here, this next week. I mean, you're going to have to face this all your life, but this next week will be really beneficial and really supported. So change now. Change now. And with it also, your goals and your vision of yourself for the future. This has a lot to do with being able to trust in yourself and in your abilities. How will this play out physically? I'm expecting things to shift a little more towards the digestive tract now, to its intestines. Ulcers may be popping up with people, and vascular and circulatory aspects, things that have to do with your heart. The main chakras affected here next week is 1st, 4th, and 5th. And for those of you who are familiar with energy centers, okay, first has a specific significance in regards to your past pain and your past programming. And we get to this here in a minute because that's really important and characteristic about this next week. The fourth and fifth have to do with your heart chakra and with your throat chakra, which want to come together and go into the expression of truth. Self-actualization is still the theme here for September. Okay, so it is not enough to just think about it. It has to go into, into realization, into actualization. So the stuff that bugs you about others, the stuff that, bugs you about yourself, those are things that usually hint at the parts of you that you cannot love yet. So if you're thinking about going to the gym, but you want to lose weight before you go to the gym, scrap that. Go to the gym now. This is not about the gym. Personally, I'm not a big gym person. But, this is about doing something. And you know why? Because there's a momentum that forms. And as you, start doing it, and yes, the first week or so sucks a little bit, but as you're doing this, and this can be applied to any self-care actions, expressions of self-love, you're building a momentum, and it becomes easier and easier and easier. The same with refraining from, substance abuse or certain activities, such as gambling, pornography, gaming, codependency, just to name a few things. So every time you catch yourself and you stop it and you push through, with not engaging where you already know is destructive for you, you're building a stronger foundation for loving and trusting in yourself every single time. Every single time. And if you relapse, that's okay. Then just start over again. Realign, reset, start over again. Because you have no chance of healing if you are not starting somewhere. Agree that it's a step-by-step process. Only take on as much as you can handle. Ground yourself a lot next week. This is important physically. And maybe do something that helps you to release excess energies, such as anger, such as fear. Go into sort of impact-based activities, kickboxing, chopping wood, okay? And at the same time, allow sort of the softer, a more sensual energy in you, the one that appreciates beauty, the one that appreciates touch. So massages could be good, reflexology, foot baths, but also, of course, meditating. This is a non-brainer for me, that meditating helps with any kind of condition. Not that it magically makes it disappear. No, it connects you. And as you connect within, as you connect with your heart, all your self-healing abilities get activated and begin to work for you, okay? So allow, your true self to come forward. And by allowing it to come forward, you're going to have to remove the things that you're still engaging in that are prohibiting it from coming forward. I hope that makes sense. Now, emotionally, you can already feel this a bit. It looks like it may be a bit ambiguous here this next week. So the first thing, that I see in people, and I have had a lot of those coaching sessions here in the last days, is remember that what you pay attention to, that what you ruminate about, what you worry about is what you energize, okay? This is a very simple energetic truth. Where your focus goes, where your attention goes, where your energy goes, is what you manifest, okay? So stop these thoughts of worries, and this constant sort of turning every stone and again. No, believe in yourself. This is the time for action. So all this ruminating is nothing but a distraction mechanism, guys. Is your ego trying to get you all tangled up in your emotions or in your thoughts, okay? To not be able to see what actually needs to be done. So have patience for yourself. If you still get pulled into like, oh, you know, sure. But the whining is not going to do anything for you. Okay? You're going to have to see the reflections, you know, of your, you know, not really changing anything as your reality. And this is really when you begin to become more congruent. Okay? So you begin to accept your energetic reality, and you allow sort of this to become physical, you know, 3D for you. And one more thing for those of you who go through relationship issues right now, codependency has nothing to do with love. Zip. Okay? And love has nothing to do with sacrifice. So all of you who are still sort of, you know, tangled up in this, yeah, but maybe I should do this, and maybe, you know, he needs me, or maybe, you know, she cannot see this by herself, maybe she needs me to heal her. This is all ego bull crap, okay? Drop it. But here comes the biggest and probably the most impacting theme for next week, and this is that all this inner child work that you've been doing here these last weeks is now coming to fruition. And I want you to understand that this time right now is the time where we literally begin to out-vibrate our family karma. Everything in the past that has driven you, you know, to all these activities, these coping mechanisms, you know, even to, you know, driven you to become successful or whatever, was most likely 99% of that was based on some kind of trauma or some kind of wound from your childhood, from growing up in that karmic setup that you have. Okay, so needing to be successful, needing to get attention, needing to get validation from others, you know, constantly experiencing victimization, being afraid of rejection, feeling attacked or feeling judged by others. Those are the prime directives for most people. And guess where they're coming from? They're coming from your early childhood, guys. And you are getting into this place now where you can close this chapter for good. You are in a place where you can manifest and, you know, do what it is that you truly want to do. Not based on what your parents wanted you to do or how you thought others should see you, or, you know, all this false self stuff. No. What you truly came here for. And if you can tap into this, guys, all right, and this requires you to truly let go of what your family, your spouse, or your kids, or whatever, your village is, you know, how they're seeing you. It doesn't matter how they see you. Do you know what? You will never, ever be able to control what other people think of you, no matter what you do. You may as well do what you came here for, what feels most congruent for you, what feels most healing and most uplifting for yourself. This is the time now, guys. Leave your family karma behind you. Accept it, fine. You know, accept, you know, your family's limitations, fine. It doesn't mean that you have to, you know, turn your back onto your family. It means you have to accept that it is what it is. It was what it was, okay? And now it's time for you to move on, to do your own thing, okay? Mentally, you can already tell, you know, this isn't easy, okay? And to be able to tap into our own blind spots, you know, where we have been avoiding, distracting, you know, and blocking ourselves. If it was that easy, you know, we would have all done this long time ago. So what is holding us back? It's the payoff that we get. So the ego gets something out of distraction, avoiding, running away, attacking, you name it. So you got to become aware of your ego's payoff, okay? Because if you want to tackle this, you know, then you can't really do this without, you know, sort of transcending the part in you, you know, this some people call it animalistic, but animalistic sounds so raw. It can be simple things such as wanting to be a nice person. Okay, this is a nice idea, but want to be a nice person doesn't mean that you have to suck up or that you have to constantly sort of get involved or distracted by other people's dramas. Okay, it also doesn't mean that you have to comply with what other people sort of put up as their highest morals, not even mentioning things in conjunction with religion, where it can get very, very rigid. Okay, and of course always also in regards to beliefs, to the belief system of what spirituality or what spiritual is. Come on, guys, you're already past that. Okay, it doesn't matter what these beliefs are. The most spiritual thing you can ever do is to really live in your true self and to live up to your highest potential, to become congruent, to become authentic. And yes, you will automatically manifest higher vibratory goals because it's in the energetic state of authenticity, that you don't do to others what you don't want others to do to you. Stuff like that. Those are non-brainer things when you are in your truth. But when you avoid, when you run away, when you get distracted, your ego plays tricks on you and you cannot see it. And just as a tip here for you, catch your judgmentalism, catch when you get, when your thoughts get all rigid, because that's usually when you're caught in your ego. Righteousness and judgment is nothing but a cover up, a cop out for not trusting in yourself. Okay. So, if you have to, work with your mind somehow, and I understand this, I'm a rather mental person myself, then focus on rewriting your goals, and your strategy. And, for those of you who do conscious manifestation work, rewrite your order form, refine your order form. Remember that, the universe, if you will, delivers literally. So if you write things down such as I want to have enough money, to pay my rent, you're going to get enough money to pay your rent, but maybe not enough money to pay food after you paid the rent. So you got to be more precise. Okay? Be really precise on these things. How you want a happy and fulfilled and purpose-driven, not pain-driven or fear-driven life to be. In relationships, this can be a little tricky here, okay? Because, and I happen, to get a really good insight through the transmission work that we do here at transCODES with so many of you, and also the energy coaching, that a lot of you guys are going through questioning your relationship. And I'll be the first one to say, if something is degrading for you, or if something is, really sort of holding you back, walk out. But right now is also the time to own your own aspects of this. And those of you, and this happens to be sort of a statistical significant number of empaths and energetically sensitives who get caught up in codependency and codependent patterns and co-addictive patterns. It's not going to be resolved by leaving your partner, okay? Because this is still a karmic family pattern that you're reliving there over and over and over again, okay? So you're going to have to shift out of that cycle. You're going to have to own your parts. And you're going to have to see how all this has enabled another, okay? And then you can still make a choice. Then you can still choose to leave, your wife or your husband or your girlfriend, okay? But it has to come with this willingness to own your own parts, because without that, you can never really feel that you can do it. You can never really move into self-responsibility. So are there going to be resistances on the way? And are your partners or your family is swearing tooth and nail that you are the crazy one and that this is completely, that you just made that up and that this is not the way it is, absolutely. Then again, remember, you manifest what you energize. Okay? Spiritually, it's about, still embracing the masculine and the feminine, the harmonizing, the balancing aspect of it, but also to bring in your healed inner child now. So it's the time again where we really want to embrace all parts of us, whether they've been wounded or not. This is not a justification for coping or distracting, guys. You want to bring all these three primary energies in so that you can connect with your true source of power. Okay, so it's the mother, the father, the child in energetic form. And how this plays out for you on a spiritual level is that it actually links you in and energizes your abundance field. So this is where your manifestation can happen. But if you are still based on the abandonment issues that you had or the negligence that you had as a child, everything will be based on lack for you. Everything will be based on scarcity, and you will be focused on what you don't have. And you may even envy what others have. Okay, so you can see here, this isn't conducive for abundance. Okay, conducive for abundance is when you can let these things go, and allow yourself to really tune into, the affluence and, the limitlessness of this entire existence. And one of the healing resonances that we recommend is beauty, the beauty of nature. That's why, taking a walk in nature, sitting by a tree, working with animals, working with plants is generally perceived as healing because there's an abundance in nature, okay, and also the beauty of it. But, the main thing here is that you need to move beyond your karmic issues, okay? Be it reflected in your direct family or collectively, that has been weighing you down. And this is where the equinox energies come in because, every equinox, there's also a window that opens up where you can pierce through these things. And we do karmic collective clearing sessions. So those of you who want to learn how to actively work on this and experience this for yourself, check out the karmic collective clearing here on Sunday morning, and also the energetic adjustment session that we have next week, because those are, really showing you how you can work this with your own energy through your first-hand experience. Okay. Yes. But it's really important that you're willing to let go. So when I said push through, have courage, go and really, do something. It's mostly about letting go, guys. Let go of your mom finally giving you approval. She'll never approve of what you do. Let go of your dad saying, "Good job, son, I'm proud of you." He may never do this. It's not in your control, no matter what you do. So go and do what is important for you and what comes through sort of as your authentic, you. And also allow, and this is the spiritual component here, mutual exchange with others, with like-minded. Okay, this will be very, very important for the future. And this 9-month gestation period here has a lot to do with how well you can collaborate with others, with how well you can go into this mutual change and exchange with your partner, or with your job situation. This will define how easy it goes for you. Okay, so don't shy away to seek other people's help or support, or offering other people's help, but without getting distracted and taking responsibility for them. This is the big pitfall here, spiritually and socially. To misunderstand self-responsibility as taking responsibility for others. No. That's an ego trap. That's how you guys have been avoiding in the past. Okay? That's how you've been distracting yourself. So energetically, you know, it's really the problem here of straddling two worlds because they exist at the same time. So during the equinox, you know, they kind of have this sort of mutual existence, and you're going to have to find that thing that helps you to exist right in the middle, right in the center of it. It will show functionalities and dysfunctionalities. It will show you your powers, and it will show you your ego traps. And any kind of resistance that you can make out, you know, coming from within, you know that this is your ego. Any kind of resistance coming in from the outside, know that it's their ego. Okay? Don't react to either. You can out-vibrate this. So remember, whining, ruminating, worrying, you know, trying to please, trying to somehow be somebody that you're not, is energizing the wrong thing. And that's why so many of us feel held back, because we focus on the wrong thing. It's not anybody else's fault. It's us not really being aware of where our energy goes. And that's why energy training and energy healing is so important, guys. Not to have somebody to hold his hand on you and say, oh, you healed. This is not what energy healing is about, guys. Energy healing can give you a roadmap about what you need to work on self-responsibly and how you can activate your own self-healing abilities. There's nothing more powerful than a person's own self-healing. I love all your hearts. Yes, I was on a roll again. So I need to get ready for the crypto spiritual update here, where I'm conceptualizing or transposing this into the crypto sphere and the financial markets. The crypto spiritual update will probably happen half an hour later, simply because I'm preparing a slide for you that I haven't done yet. And I would love to close with a big thank you to you guys for coming, for sending me all these hearts and all these likes. Okay, and if you subscribe to my newsletter, you get the edited version of this video with a written report and more info. Thank you. Guys, have a good equinox. And if you need assistance, send me an email. You know this, I offer a free initial energy coaching session. And if you want to actively work on it, check out the Karmic Collective Clearing and the energy adjustment session next week. Also, if you know somebody, or if you detect this in yourself, who struggles with addiction, substance or not, or co-addiction such as codependency, consider coming to our online self-healing workshop tomorrow night. I know the times don't always work out for you guys live, but everyone who buys a ticket, it's free for our Sacred Self-Healing members, but those from the outside who want to come in, you can buy a $10 ticket. You get the recording for this, you know, where we work through codependency, addiction, and recovery issues for energetically sensitive people. All right, go to www.transcodes.com where you'll find all the info right there. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.